welcome to The Good Life. Me, Eileen, on Relationship Tuesday. We are here to open your mind.
We live in a good life. Good life. In a different land. Living a good life, y'all. In a different lane now. Hey, come on. Hey, come on. I said living a good life.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sorry, I was sitting here jamming to my new song. We have new theme music. It is by Trumpet Black. Thank you, Leroy Hill, for submitting his song, and they will be here on Friday. We will have a tribute to Trumpet Black, so make sure you tune in this Friday because it is going down in The Good Life, because it absolutely is the good life. Well, we are here on Relationship Tuesday. We're going to be discussing raising the standard. I have talked about it last year, and I was like, we're going to have a whole show about it. 2016 is going to be raising the standard. So I want to thank Gentili Italian Pie for sponsoring Relationship Tuesday. It is $2 Tuesday on tap at 4706 Paris Avenue. That is Gentili Italian Pie, home of the Family Happy Hour. $5 wings, $5 personal pizzas, $5 daily drink specials, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Dine in or carry out. Yeah, that was my phone. 826-9180.
You could have landed on it.
Look. It's okay. Lee tells everybody, look, I take one for the team. Me.
It's good accountability.
See? Don't we talk about accountability all the time?
And that's not an opinion.
And well, we have a show for you today because we're talking about raising the standards. And at least from my perspective, I was talking about raising the standards of young ladies because that would raise the standards of everyone involved. But we're going to get into every dynamic of it, of raising standards. So we are here in the studio today with Henry, our relationship therapist, Ty, who always locks it down for us, Brian, our clinical psychologist who gives us the real, and we have my girl, Gian. I know if y'all are a regular listener, you know it. I try to drag her in on a more regular basis, but it's the new year. I said you have to be here for the topic, so she's here for raising standards. And, of course, Uche, y'all all know who, breaks it down for the guys and gives us the real. Huh?
I got my radio wife here today.
Okay, yes, exactly. Exactly. So raising standards, y'all, we get into this all the time with kind of piecing it together on general shows, but I really wanted to have a full show about it because we had a conversation. We were like, if women, and y'all agreed, the guys, if women would raise their standards, men would just fall into line. And I don't think we really grasp that concept as much as we need to. And I remember about a couple years ago, I was like, I wish, Oprah Winfrey could get this out. But you know what? Why not me? We're going to put this all over the world. We're going to raise the standard for 2016, and we're going to stop accepting less than what we deserve. Because when we, number one, are secure in who we are, we love ourselves, and we raise our standards, what a good life we can all live together. Henry, go ahead. I'm going to go around the studio table.
True. A heterosexual male would do anything for the right woman. He'll climb a mountain, anything. The problem
male would do anything for the right woman.
Well,
the right man.
Well, I don't know about that world, but I do know about the heterosexual world. And like I said, the problem comes when you have women who don't keep the standards high, and they make it easy for a guy to just be like, you know what, I don't have to, I can get it easy, like why go hunt for the food when it's just going to lay down there and
when it's going to show up in your front door.
It's going to show up at the front door, already dead, come on, cooked already, just go ahead and eat it and that's it.
And it's funny that you said that because Uche has said this before. He's like, if we raise the standards, he's like, there's going to be that one that's going to sneak out and mess it up for everybody. We are only, as a community, as strong as our weakest link, and it is only going to work if we all raise the standard together. Because if they have the little, low-hanging fruit, then they're going to get the low-hanging fruit.
It's just a lot of weak people. I don't want to, single out women, but
no, women and men.
Yeah.
No, in general across the board. But we were discussing, and me specifically, I am discussing women raising the bar and only accepting. I'm a woman. Yeah.
But Eileen, can I say this? But I think you're being a little unfair to women. I'm not saying that we shouldn't raise our standards, but at the end of the day, why can't men have accountability for their standards also? It's like why we have to be the only ones to raise standards. I mean, as a man, I have
because men are weak.
Okay, well, but the whole point is you and I both.
Well, you said it.
I mean, okay, we agree with that.
Look, Helen of Troy, Cleopatra. Y'all want me to start naming the women?
No, let me explain something. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, she cut you off. Realistically,
and then you cut me off.
I just want to say, I just want to say one. But I said, excuse me, can I answer? Henry?
That's true.
I did say that.
And
Okay.
Eileen cut you off.
Okay,
and then I cut
but all I want to say to Eileen is this. I'm talking
out of turn because Taifa was
okay,
next.
well, I'm sorry, but I just have to respond to Henry because I cannot let them just say that. In my opinion, this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. I am saying this. Eileen, you have a son. I have a son. Henry, you have sons, and I think that we need to raise our sons to have standards also. Like I want my son to see me as a woman and say that's the kind of woman I want. And so when those weak women come, he's like, that's not even my standard. So she can be cooked, baked, whatever on my porch, and I'm going to say, please stay away from me. You're not even in my caliber of woman.
Like
and that's all I'm saying. That's
no,
it.
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody go to their turn.
True that.
Ty?
I definitely would have to agree with Gian's sentiments. It's I feel like it will forever be a challenge if we focus on we as women collectively raising our standards, because I think every individual woman is battling their own situations and challenges and what they're seeking out of a relationship. And it poses a challenge when I want to impose my standards and my expectations of a relationship on another woman when that may not necessarily be where she is at that point in her life. So I may encourage her. I may be there to be a listening ear when she's going through some challenges she's having with someone. But, for me, there's enough. I just feel like I need to focus on myself and the standards and expectations that I have for myself. Because if you're truly doing that, that's a ever-evolving process. And that's just as far as it can go, because at the end of the day, I can't control or dictate or be there for that woman when she needs compassion, when she needs intimacy, and she's justifying a temporary adjustment in her standards or her expectations so that she can get some type of temporary fulfillment or intimacy for that respective night or week or whatever, or however she justifies it.
I'm glad you brought that up because... And I'm not saying, we all have weak moments, but I also am saying when you do have that weak moment, embrace the moment and, deal with that moment rather than, making the hotline blink. You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously.
Because I just feel like it gets to a point where, And
then you're mad at the next morning.
Who am I to start a movement in regulating women and the standards that they...
Well, if no one ever starts a movement, then nothing's ever going to change. Isn't that how the civil rights movement started? If no one ever had the idea to change something, then it would never change.
There's been numerous movements, if we're going to call what we're discussing today. There have been numerous movements and books and counselors and discussions and episodes all discussing, the very same issue. And at the end of the day, it's up to that woman to maintain a certain level of standards and expectations that she has for herself.
Ty, I think this may be the first time I disagree with you wholeheartedly, actually. My first point is that, one, I like these conversations, but sometimes I really get boxed into a corner because I feel all too often we attempt to speak so big about what I call the silent majority and the vocal minority. So when we talk about standards, I think all too often, first and foremost, we've allowed the vocal minority, the flashy cats, the chick in the club with the short skirt, or the person who's in this situation, that we give them a lot of voice to set the standards. In reality, they're the abnormal person.
Right.
So no, I'm not. And for this morning, I pulled up some lines from Beyonce, well, Destiny's Child, I Need a Soldier, because I remember when that song came out, I remember they really set the standard for what me and a lot of my partners who was in school trying to get degrees, we started trying to be soldiers based upon that vocal minority. So when they say stuff like, he better be street if he looking at me, I need a soldier that ain't scared to stand up for me, and he got to know how to get dough, and he better be street. I mean, like, that was a very small group of people, and all of a sudden everybody's trying to be a soldier. And they set
And
the
everybody
standard.
was singing the song, whether
Right.
you realized it or not.
Wayne,
it was subconsciously
man, look, when
being
Wayne and
driven in your
BG
mind.
jumped on the hook, and if you look at the video, they got a bunch of buffed up dudes looking real musty dancing. Bunch of dancing thugs. But they became the standard. Right. Dancing thugs. And then the second thing, I think, we have to accept at some point that standards don't have to be lived out at every level for every person. But if there are no standards, then what are we aspiring to? If somebody, Ty, you set a standard. Every time I've seen you out, you're always on point. You set a standard. So when women see you, Ty got it. When I see your post on Facebook, you're saying something intelligent. You don't ever let it fall down. Mm-hmm. So you are setting a standard. No. I didn't say you don't privately, but publicly, you are very conscious enough to know that I have to set a standard of what I expect people to see me as. And to me, that's what I struggle with. I love this topic. This is a topic that we get around the table and drink and just talk all night about because we like having fun. Right.
Well, Brian, let me say this though. I really do understand where you're coming from and actually agree. The one thing that I would like to add to that is in reference to the song, I think for me, I wouldn't necessarily agree that Destiny's Child and the lyrics within that song set the standard. It may have set the standard for some men and some women's expectations. I think, and some people may need, it's a symbol and they need that direction or they need that influence. But I definitely think that, we need to step back and overall look at all of the things that contribute to how we view one another, men and women, relationships, because it comes from our music, it comes from television programming, and our parents. And I think not everyone is blessed to be raised in a wonderful household that provides very strong values and standards and things of that nature, where that can carry over into their adult life. So they're very clear on what they would want in a man or a partner or something like that. So if you don't have that, if you had a community standard, just like there's a standard in school, you can't go to the next grade without passing this standard.
No, I think we've talked about this, and I would love to hear Uche's point after this. It's like unrealistic views of life in reality. I think it is really huge because I think, like he said, let me finish, Ryan. Like you said that Destiny Child came out with this song and you wanted to live like that. But in reality, there's a lot of actors on there. Those people not really living like that. They
that's the
portray
point,
that.
but how many people?
Beyonce don't even live like
Beyonce
that.
don't live like that. Lil Wayne just got his stuff seized for not paying a private jet bill. I mean, the thing is, it's like, he not on the street selling drugs, really killing people. I mean, the thing is that, and I just use that as an example, but I think in general, we're not realistic. Like, we portray a lot of images or a lot of things that we want that's not realistic in reality. And so I told somebody the other day, asked me my New Year's resolution, and I said, I want to live in reality. And no, because I want to, what is my reality today? And that's what I'm going to work on. I could wish and dream a lot of things. I wish I could eat ice cream every day and not gain a pound. Like I would own Baskin and Robbins and eat it every day, but I cannot. Okay, that would be like ultimate top 10 on my list, but I cannot. And I'm saying that I think that we're just not realistic. We say we want, I think we talked about on the show that people say they want a six-pack when they have a donut. And so you have to be realistic about where you are in your life and what you want in your life, and then you set standards based on that. Because what I think it might be my dream life is not your dream life. Everybody here we could say, what do we want in an ideal mate based on our experiences, our environment, and what makes us happy. That's what we're going to do. So I think if we want to have a realistic conversation, we have to start with reality.
And we're going to have Uche's comments when we come back from break. So I know that you're going to stay tight for this one, but really, are certain standards really that hard to have? I mean, like, yes. I mean, like standards like honesty, like loyalty, like self-respect. Everybody may have a different level of that, but those should be certain standards that you require before you move forward. This is The Good Life. This is Relationship Tuesday. We are setting standards, and we will be right back.
Join us every Monday through Thursday for the Conscious Hour with Chuck Perkins, dedicated to the upliftment of black people and the destruction of false narratives that help to keep black people down. That's the Conscious Hour with Chuck Perkins on WBOK every Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to noon. Real talk for real times.
Gentili Italian Pie is home to the $5 Family Happy Hour. Specials on pizza, wings, and drinks Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Gentili Italian Pie does fresh for the entire family. Salads, pizza, pasta, wings, and oven-baked sandwiches. Gentili Italian Pie offers lunch and dinner in a new, modern atmosphere surrounded by big screen TVs. Dine in or carry out by calling 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. Relax. Have a drink from the fully stocked bar or beer on tap while your order is made from the freshest ingredients. Gentili Italian Pie, 4706 Paris Avenue, is home where everybody knows your name. So bring the family to Paris and Marabou for the $5 Family Happy Hour, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's Gentili Italian Pie. Dine in or carry out. 504-826-9180. That's 504-826-9180. You gotta try the pie. That's the original Italian pie, located at Paris and Marabou in Gentili.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
You're on the move and so is your bank. Liberty Bank now offers you the power to manage your money from the palm of your hand with mobile banking with Liberty Bank. Whether you need to check balances, transfer money, or view transactions, mobile banking at Liberty Bank allows convenient and secure access to your money. Enroll today at www.libertybank.net and download our mobile app. You can mobile bank at Liberty Bank to keep the power in your hands. Liberty Bank. There's freedom here. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
L&R Security provides the good life. They make their mark in the security arena by providing excellent security services for more than 35 years, and they're licensed in more than 13 states. L&R Security's team comes with a wealth of experience from the military, law enforcement, and law enforcement training. Their personnel is comprised of more than 200 employees trained in video monitoring, special event services, convention services, armed and unarmed security guards, ticket takers, executive security, personal bodyguards, hall monitors, and critical infrastructure personnel that are TSA trained. L&R Security services are provided on a 24-hour basis and have expanded to the newest technology, including video monitoring. Find them on the web at www.lrsecurity.com or call them today at 504-943-3191. Again, that number is 504-943-3191. Live the good life with L&R Security today.
Hi, this is Mary Ambrose, Senior Vice President for Community Impact at United Way. Join me every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 for United Way and You, a program designed to inform you on how your United Way dollars are working in your community. We'll discuss community services, resources, and how you can give, advocate, volunteer to make your community a better place. So join me every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 right here on WBOK 1230 AM, Real Talk for Real Time.
Talk radio, heard around the globe. New Orleans own WBOK 1230 AM and WBOK1230AM.com. Real talk for real times.
morning and welcome to The Good Life with me, Eileen. We are here on Relationship Tuesday. We're going to open your mind. We are here on Relationship Tuesday, and we are discussing raising our standards. And speaking of raising your standards, make sure you raise your standards in your pizza game and visit Gentili Italian Pie, home of the family happy hour with $5 wings, $5 personal pizza, $5 daily drink specials, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 p.m. through 7 p.m. That's dine in or carry out. That's 826-9180. That's 826-9180. You live the good life. We were discussing raising your standards, and for me, what if in a utopia there was a standard to get into a relationship? You had to exude honesty, trustworthiness, loyalty, respect, all those things to go into a relationship. What if we made those things a standard? Uche, your thoughts on standards before we go to the line. So if you have your 2 cents on standards, give us a call at 504-260-9265. That's 504-260-9265. We're going to get to the lines right after Uche.
Well, I raise my standards as to say one thing to myself, and please nobody jump in before I finish, but it was a standard for myself to say, look, I can do better. And it's not saying that somebody's not good enough. It's me saying I can do better. So it means I can do better than seeing a person once a week, or I can do better than you not being accountable and returning phone calls, or I can do better meaning that you don't relate. I don't even want you to relate with my children. I can do better, meaning that you don't have a job. You know, there's so many things that, you know, go into it, and it's like, you know, single and available people, you know, out here dating and things like that, and you run across that woman that you think is the right woman, and it's like, you know what? At some point, it's like, it looks good on the outside, but it's like, you know what? I can do better. But you have to have the strength to say, and I'm not going any further, and be able to cut it off. And that standard of living or whatever has been mine, to say I can do better. And yeah, people get their feelings hurt, but better get your feelings hurt now than later.
If you don't say yes to yourself, who else is going to say yes to you? We're going to go to the lines. We have Lando on line 2, and our lines are lit up. Lando, welcome to The Good Life from Relationship Tuesday. We're discussing standards, raising the standards for 2016.
How y'all doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, just in this cold. I heard a lot of things. Some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. But I'm just going to lay out my perspective. Basically, I think that standards, I don't know if you can even go on that, because people change as they progress in relationships. If you have value and you meet someone who, in your mind, is a little less valuable than you, you're going to do what you can do to make their value come up. You're going to talk to them about things. You're going to give them knowledge on things. You're going to basically up their value. At that point, you can up their value, and they might not want you anymore. So
honesty can't be a standard? Honesty can't be a standard? It seems to me
that the whole standard thing is like what women like to do with men they meet, and they basically have bad meters. When they meet a man, you know, like they meet a loser, and they're trying to act like he's not a loser. You know, you dress him up, you put Jordans on him, you know, all of the things, the V-neck sweaters and slacks. And, you know, you call all your friends to try to get them a job and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you're still working with somebody that has less value than you.
Because you didn't set the standards. That's the whole point.
Because you said no standards.
Exactly.
But at the same time, a man can take a woman that doesn't have any inclination, and he can provide for her, and he can take care of her, and in return, she can create kids for him and love him and give him a good house and all of those kind of things. So I don't know if this control that women want in 2015 is what's right.
Well, let me give you.
I really think it's wrong, to be honest with you. I think that, you know, if you have a bad meter and you keep shooting, rolling the dice, and you keep rolling whammies, that says something about you.
Because you have no standards.
Well, let me let the panel respond to that. All right, Ty, go ahead.
I just want to make sure that I heard him correctly about a man and a woman coming together and the woman being perceived as having, he used the word inclination. I'm assuming that was used out of context because I misunderstood. But that yet she can come into the relationship and bear children and things of that nature. So I just want to get clarity on what was the ultimate message that was trying to be conveyed, because what I can do in a relationship because of my gender has absolutely nothing to do with my standards and expectations of myself.
Hello. Let's go to the lines. We have. Oh wait, go ahead.
What I think Lando was just trying to say was that a man could come into a relationship with nothing, and then a woman might dress him up and make him something that he's not. And then a woman can come in a relationship, like a lot of men meet women who are just regular women. They don't have a lot to bring to the relationship, but he might, give her a great lifestyle. She might have children for him, and that's okay in society, versus a woman taking a man and cleaning him up and making him something in society. That's not equal. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Well, but I think that's fundamentally flawed.
Brian, go ahead.
I think that's fundamentally flawed, the idea that you get into a relationship and you're not going to assist your partner in being better. That's what you get into a relationship for, is to help move forward as a couple. So if the fundamental flaw is that men can do it but women can't, or if that's the original starting point, then we're already going to have a jacked up situation, because anytime a man falls and fails or has problems, then his woman's supposed to leave him. And any man, like, I guess the joke I used to have is
each other.
The joke was always, if a woman walked into McDonald's and the dude was on the fries, he couldn't holler. But if a dude walked into McDonald's and the fine chick was on fries, he better holler. Mm-hmm. Like why is that the way, right? So could those both persons working fries, both be in school, working on getting degrees, and that's just temporary job, or maybe that's they willing to do what they have to do to make ends meet.
And I guess what I'm saying in what I was saying, and that's exactly what I was leading to, is to say, look, she is fine, she is on fries, I can do better. Not saying she's not good enough on fries. I'm saying I can do better.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, these are my standards of living, and these are my choices I have to make.
Exactly.
And so I don't care what anybody has to say, looking at it, how it looks, whatever. I have to live with the choices that I make every day.
And if we raise our standards, we can.
You raise your standards, you get what you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. We're going to go to the lines. We have Piper on line 3. Piper, welcome to The Good Life on Relationship Tuesday. We're discussing raising our standards for 2016.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I normally skip over your conversation, but it caught me this morning. I got a couple of stories. One, my son was dating a young lady. She's working. She's in college. And my son decided, well, since his girl was working, paying the rent, he could just stay home. So I had to talk to her. And I told her, I said, you should want more for yourself. This is my son. I love myself. My son, I raised him better than this, but there's no way you should allow some man to sit in your house when you're working, you're in college, and he's just at the house playing the PlayStation or whatever.
Right.
I said, and my thing is, and then with my own daughter, so you have to want more. You have to know your worth, and you have to want more. You know what that more is. I can't tell anyone what that more is or what they feel their standard should be. But no little girl when she's growing up wants to be just that average girl. They all want to be little princesses and things like that. So you should build on that. But I think so many times we tear them down, and by the time they're middle school age, they don't see this princess anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think we just have to, as a community, work with them and realize, let them know, hey, look, you're still little princesses. And like I say, you have to set that standard to know your worth and know that you deserve more than to get up, go to work, go to school, and have a guy just sitting at your house waiting on you to come home to cook dinner for him.
Absolutely.
So, and this is my own son, and I'm telling this girl.
Absolutely.
Well, that's where the education starts. Is the education starts from you as the father to not only tell your son, but your son and your daughter, both in relationships, of how they should navigate through their relationships.
But
that's where it starts, is from the father.
But what if we taught our standards to children young?
You can teach him, but you have to remind him.
Exactly, but you're saying knowing your worth. Knowing your worth.
We do teach them, and I think that's
I'm gonna be honest. I have a sixth grade little boy, and they have little girls that do too much in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Host, let me make my point. We do. Host, let me make my point.
You talking to me? I know what he said. I had to clear that up a little question.
We do teach our kids. Unfortunately, what we like to think is that because we're not intentional, they're not paying attention. When you're doing something and your kids are watching it and you think they're not paying attention, they learning. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is that we think, oh, my kid's not watching me right now. They don't see this. No, they do. And when it comes back to you or when it's come back to parents, last night I was in the store and this chick was like, oh, he do such and such. He be cussing at this person because that person. The whole time she was in the store, guess what she was doing? Cursing. That beat at this. That, and I was like, oh, well, what do you think you get it from? Right. I don't know where you get it. And she just said, I don't know where he get that from. Well, you just stood in a store, public place, just cuss. So our kids do learn, and I think that's the whole point about the setting of standards is that whether you are intentionally doing it or whether it is by omission or commission, our kids are watching us.
And you have to be intentional.
And I will say, I am focused on little girls and women in general because I think, just y'all can agree with me or not, men are going to step up their game as a byproduct of women stepping up their game and raising their standards. Yes, we will. Exactly. Men will be a byproduct of that. So that's why I'm focusing on young girls and having a sixth grader young man. There have been, and this is just my personal experience because I've never raised a boy. I'm one of 3 girls. And to see what little girls do at such a young age is absolutely mind-boggling. So for me, they do not understand their worth at a young age. And it is our responsibility as adults to instill character and values in them so they understand I am worth something. I am worth gold. I am amazing. I am phenomenal. And I do not have to take this nonsense. I don't have to be running behind a little boy. There were like 4 girls that gave him all of this stuff for Valentine's Day. What? He should be the one giving out the Valentine's handouts. He shouldn't be having 4 girls give him stuff. Thirsty. And I mean money, candy, gifts, stuff that they made and all this. I'm like, are you serious?
Eileen, I think that's what we just, and I think
but let me be real. They had little girls calling him at 6:30 in the morning to wake him up. I had to slow them down and call their mother.
I
and be
agree,
like,
but that's what I'm saying. But it's at the household. What's going on in their household?
Exactly.
Because I was telling somebody that last night that my children are 2. They came in this world with a blank slate. They don't know anything. They learn from their environment. They're shaped by their environment at home. They're shaped by their environment at school or whatever. But the primary environment shaper is home, is family, because we have them the most. And so what's going on in their home environment? What are their mothers or their fathers teaching them that at 4th grade, 5th grade, that they're already having a boy on their mind, not like still dolls or whatever. I mean, just like children stuff. I mean, children are growing up way too fast, and I think that is a product of home. And so home needs to be good, and that's what we could address. We could have a whole week of show about home life and examples.
We might.
But, your son goes to a very upscale school. So, people think that money equals a better life. And I keep telling people, just because you have the financial resources, you come from a good home and a good school, doesn't mean you're going to be a good person. And so people think, okay, I'm going to provide my children all these material things and that my children are going to be better people. That is not true. Some of the worst individuals we know could be very successful. Yeah, affluenza. I mean, are successful people that come from really, great families. And so I think at the end of the day, it has to be what we teach at home and the foundation we bring at home.
Thank you, Piper, so much. Did you want to comment again? Oh, I think he's gone. Go ahead, Brian.
And to Gian's point, that's not standards. Those are material possessions. Standards are things like values and morals and ethics and the acts that you do to show people who you really are. So as long as we have situations where people think, well, I'll just give something to someone. So that's what those young ladies are doing. They're giving.
Let me give you an example.
They're giving him stuff thinking he's going to fall in love with that. And all too often people do. They fall in love with the stuff. And then when they get to know the person, they're like, oh, can I get some more stuff? Because you suck.
Go ahead, Uche.
Example standards. I have a 20-year-old daughter, be 20 this month, and her standards that I set for her, I can't stop her from seeing boys, liking boys, so on and so forth. So the standards that I gave her, I said, look, if you're dating a guy, make sure he opens doors. Make sure if your curfew is 12, you're home at 12. Make sure he respects and obeys all rules of your mother's house. And if y'all going somewhere, make sure he pays. That's your set of standards that she set. Now, does she have a boyfriend at this point? No, because she's following those standards. And I'm telling her, I'm like, if you have a problem with these set of standards that I put out for you, then we can talk. But if you deviate from any of those, you're going to have problems.
Right.
And that's the reason she doesn't have a boyfriend right now, because she set her standards.
It's so much better to have a set of standards and not get into, and that's how you get in abusive relationships, by not setting your standards and letting them go awry. We're going to take a quick break because I know I've gone over, and we're going to go back to the lines when we get right back. This is the Good Life Relationship Tuesday. We're talking about raising our standards in 2016.
Join us every Monday through Thursday for the Conscious Hour with Chuck Perkins, dedicated to the upliftment of black people and the destruction of false narratives that help to keep black people down. That's the Conscious Hour with Chuck Perkins on WBOK every Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to noon. Real talk for real times.
In whole water news, the city of New Orleans hasn't been the same since Pastor Patin started to expose the truth about alkaline oxygenated water.
My job is to inform you of the new things that are happening around the world pertaining to your health.
How do you plead? Your Honor, I plead guilty.
But not only water for your life, but water for your sustainability. Your body is acidic. Listen closely. That is where cancer, diabetes, hypertension,
testimony after testimony of people drinking alkaline oxygenated water and feeling and looking and living better.
Pastor David Patin, you have been charged with 3 counts of exposing the truth about alkaline, ionized, microclustered, oxygenated water. How do you plead?
Your Honor, I plead guilty.
This court accepts your plea of guilty, and in accordance, this court finds you guilty on all 3 counts.
What will happen to Pastor Patin? As more and more people are exposed to the truth about this water, we will have to wait and see what the judge will say next.
How do you plead?
Your Honor, I plead guilty.
But until then, get your hands on alkaline oxygenated water by calling 504-701-4711 and try it for yourself. We will keep you informed on alkaline oxygenated water as things develop.
How do you plead?
Your Honor, I plead guilty.
Are you looking for a better way to get fit? Bored with the same old routines? Looking for results or a way to instill discipline in the kids? Tiger Rock Martial Arts is the answer with Taekwondo, kickboxing, and self-defense classes. Tiger Rock diversifies your training in ways that allows individuals of all ages and fitness levels to feel like a champion. Join Tiger Rock today. TigerRockNola.com or 504-455-9694. That's 504-455-9694 with a 3-class starter pack starting for only $38, which includes your training uniform. Learn, grow, and succeed with Tiger Rock's 3 convenient locations: Old Metairie, West Bank, and Clearview. There's no better time to start gaining strength, skills, and protection for life than now. 504-455-9694. 504-455-9694. See you on the mat.
We're connecting again. WBOK 1230 AM is partnering with the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce to bring you the Generations Networking Mixer. Thursday, January 7th at the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market, 1436 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard. Come out and mingle with professionals of all ages while enjoying happy hour specials, speed networking, and a live performance by Glenn David Andrews. It's the Generations Networking Mixer. Thursday, January 7th at the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market, 1436 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, 6 to 9 p.m. Featuring vendors like Fruit Orleans, Hands Exchange, Delisha Boyd LLC, and more. Come out and make a connection Thursday, January 7th at the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market, 1436 Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard, 6 to 9 p.m. Don't forget your business cards.
Don't put yourself in solitude.
WBOK 1230 AM, the People's Station.
Good night.
Life. We are here on Relationship Tuesday, and we are here to open your mind to living differently in the world. We are discussing raising our standards for 2016. And I don't mean anything like out the box. I'm talking about like honesty, loyalty, character, values.
Things you should do automatically.
Things you should do automatically. And sometimes, you know what, when we write down our goals and we look at them all the time, it helps us as a reminder. So if we, write down our relationship goals and keep them in front of us, what a different world we can live in. We teach our children math and science, and we do that from young. 1 + 1 = 2. But do we teach them ethics and, character and values? Why don't we instill that in our children at a young age? Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen in the home. We're talking about everybody has different parenting skills, but all of our children know 1 + 1 = 2. And so we should know that we should love ourselves and we should, embrace who we are. Go ahead, Henry, and then we're going to go to the lines.
It's difficult as a parent to try to fight television and radio, basically the media. I was watching Love and Hip Hop the other night.
Where are you?
Yeah,
Feeding into it.
And guess what?
I'm just playing.
They had a couple women on there saying, "Girl, you need to use what you got to get what you need to get." Basically saying, yeah, throw the sex out there and maybe to put you on top where you need to be. And I just think, when things like that are out there and you don't have the proper upbringing and the proper foundation to ignore that, that's a problem in itself.
When you think that's the norm.
when
you see it on TV every day.
But you know what?
Clips, promos.
How many people do get on top because of stuff like that? I don't know if that's the small majority. Well,
I can tell you this,
said.
and it hurts me but what I had to do to police my own children because they stay up after I go to sleep, I cut the internet and cable off at my house.
Yeah.
There is no internet and cable. All they can do is read books and do what they have to do. Now, yes, does it hurt me?
Yay.
Does it hurt me?
Parenting.
Can I not look at what I want to do? Of course. I look at it when I get to work, so on and so forth. But there's no internet and cable at my house because they were up all night watching Glee and everything else, and I wasn't being able to supervise. And I wasn't going to stay up. I can't stay up with them, their children. So I cut off the internet and cable. And they are cut off to that.
I think that's awesome. I want to bring up one example, then we go to the lines.
Go ahead.
I knew a chick was a white woman, okay? Her dad was from Germany, all right? And the way she grew up, they had no television, none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. He would sit down with her. Anytime she wanted to watch TV, her father would sit there and watch TV with her the entire time. But once she got to college, that thing was wilding out. So it's like people are still gonna be who they want to be.
But I'm gonna Brian.
Yeah.
But Uche said something. But Uche's daughter's gonna go in the real. The whole thing is he can do that right now, but they still gonna go out in society, like you said. They're gonna experience things. So you still have to have that foundation of whoever they're gonna be as a person is still gonna come out. You only could do so much. That's all. That's my whole point. But that's the thing. You're doing what you need to do. But at the end of the day, you still just have to trust that you laid a good foundation because they're still gonna have to go into the real world.
All I was going to say was that there has to be the reality principle. So if a parent's going to sit down and watch television with them, but not allow them to experience. So this is what we was talking about with Ty and what Uche is getting at. Fine to set the standard, but give them realistic experiences so that they can know, okay, well, if I hit the real world and this dude start talking sideways to me, I know how to handle it. I'm not going to feel totally, off base or discombobulated and not know who I am now. Now I got to question, do I really like men? Do I really like women? Or do I want to smoke? Do I want to drink? So if you as a parent or as a relationship, if I'm going into a relationship with a partner and my partner wants to come home with drugs, well, if I don't want to use drugs, I can't all of a sudden be like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to do it. I'll be like, man, is you crazy?
Basically.
What is wrong with you? Get your stuff and go, because I'm not out there like that.
But you have a standard. We're going to go to the lines. The lines are lit up. I have all of them lit up. We're going to go to line 2. We have Lando on the line. Lando, welcome to The Good Life. We're talking about raising our standards in 2016.
Yeah, I'm a little upset that every time I hang up the phone, people start attacking me, but that's neither here nor there. What I want to talk about is, and I want to clarify, is that what I think is that women, their main focus is, like one of the panelists said, is the materialistic aspects of what a man either has or what he can give. And women even do it for themselves. They go to school, they get all of these degrees and things, and you ask them, well, what are you looking for in a man? I'm looking for a good man. He has to be able to take care of me better than I can take care of myself, or equal to what
Who said that?
No. If that's her standard.
If that you're right. If that's her standard,
that's
then
her standard step. If you don't, if that's her standards, and I'm not saying you, Lando. I'm not saying if you don't like them, but if a person doesn't like them, these are the standards that she set out. Step.
Leave.
Right. So here's the standard. So the standard is you want all of these things, and you're a educated woman, but as soon as you get married, you don't want to do much more. That's it.
What kind of women do you deal with? I mean, that's like. No, I'm sorry. I mean, every woman in here is an educated woman that's probably self-sufficient and independent. So I kind of resent that, Lando. Actually,
women want a man to take care of them so they can bow out the game.
Okay, you have a good day, sir.
I think that might be what you're attracting. If that's what you're putting out, that's what you're. But just like we said, how many times do we have this conversation? You like attracts like. So if you want something different, make sure you set your standards to receive something different. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We don't like to always pay attention to it.
What I find
because
is this.
A lot of women like to meet men, and then they say, "Oh, I don't know who you are. I don't know what happened."
Did you have your mask on when you met them?
That's not his fault. That's your fault.
Did you have your mask on when you met him?
Lando, based on what you just shared, with us, I think a fundamental flaw in what you shared is that there probably was some aspect of your relationship or the relationship that you're speaking of with someone that you know of where communication was an issue and a challenge, and it was a period where the expectations that were outlined by the wife or the woman, and the expectations that were outlined by the male and the husband, they didn't necessarily line up to what both of you guys expected of each other. And what happens is when someone doesn't meet someone else's expectations of what they should or should not receive in a relationship, that's where disappointment comes in. That's where hardship comes in. And that's where you go back to where she goes back and say, well, I wanted my husband to, take care of me, or I'm sorry, where you have to take responsibility for the role you played in convincing her that you had the ability to do so.
Hello.
So let me just put that out there.
I totally
so
disagree
and
with that.
if she really loved you or you really loved her or
now we talking about self-value. If you value yourself,
that's what standards are.
Now,
So,
this is the last thing. One more thing, Brian, and I definitely could toss it to you. Every aspect about finding true happiness in life is about managing expectations. It's about communicating your expectations. It's about managing your expectations, and it's about adjusting your expectations. And we always heard it's important to keep your expectations high for yourself, but to constantly adjust them based on your interactions with other people.
Absolutely.
So you can't set a standard or an expectation for someone else that is not something that they hold themselves to. And even if they do hold themselves to them, if you have the love for them that you say you do or that you have demonstrated, it's very important in you finding your own happiness to constantly adjust your expectations based on that individual's actions and behavior and so forth. So
why can't women do that in marriage and keep the men that they have these children with, even though it's dysfunctional?
I can't answer that because every individual relationship is going to have a very long slew of reasons as to why the relationship has failed. I can't answer that. I don't know you or your situation.
But time out. I think we're missing a basic standard. We're responsible for our own happiness. Focus on your happiness and what you need to do for yourself. If something's not making you happy, have a conversation. If they're not willing to change and it's not going to work out, it is your responsibility to take yourself out of that situation so you can be happy. You can't control anybody in the world but yourself.
That's why I said you have to say, I can do better.
When you're not the only person involved.
You're trying to control somebody else. You can't control somebody else.
Lando, I appreciate the point you're making. I think I hear you, and I think I understand what you're getting at.
And we have one more caller, so we're going to, after Brian, we're going to have to
In essence, the issue becomes, why is it that the other person doesn't uphold the standard they say they want? So if they come into a relationship and they want to be married, and they do this, and all of a sudden they change. But I think, Lando, one of the things we all have to recognize is this. When it comes down to standards, the only person standards that you can set, that you can live by, and that you can change are yours. And whether you're the man, the woman, whether you're straight, heterosexual, questioning, queer, whatever, at the end of the day, if you don't live by your standards, so I believe in getting up early every morning. And if I get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't want to get up early in the morning, I start getting up later and later, I can't be mad at that person because they're doing what they want to do.
Thank you.
I have now.
Affluency changes women's standards, is what I'm saying.
Say that again.
Affluency, having money,
right?
Being around money.
I get that. I get your point, but that's exactly the reason why at some point in time you cannot succumb to someone else's reasons and rationale. And if you do, then I'm gonna just say it like this: then you're the weak link. If you let somebody else change you based upon money or the booty or whatever, then you're weak. And you need to check yourself. So I agree with you that people will be moved and changed. But at the end of the day, if you view that weak to just say, well, some money or some booty going to change me, then you're weak.
Y'all, I have to go. Thank you, Landon, for your call. I have one more call, and I really have to get to them. We're going to go to Harold on line 3. Harold, welcome to The Good Life. We are here on Relationship Tuesday. We're talking about setting our standards for 2016.
Man, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. You sound like Orlando, a little bit in this field, and you need to get in contact with that relational therapist y'all got on the scene, man.
We available?
Just to be honest with you.
Henry, what's your number? Wait, put it out there real quick.
504-259-8671.
There you go.
Sing it one more time, man.
Say it one more time.
504-259-8671.
Go ahead, Harold.
All right, and that's coming from a person that's actually, gone through relationship counseling, before I got married, because it definitely helps you uncover some things that you haven't seen. But speaking to the point of the topic, I like the song of the radio show. I just had to mention that. It's my first time calling in the new year. But I think y'all made some great points in the beginning of the show. I think women do have the power to really change relationships in the world because, they really set the standard. If I could remember back when I was in high school, and I'm going to try to hurry up and bring my comments to a close, but I can remember back in high school, it was always, when you with the boys, they're like, man, when's she going to let you hit? She let you hit? She let you hit. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's a question that, your boys were asking you. And when, the young man, I didn't use that type of terminology or whatever. It was much different on my lingo, but the thugs and they were a minority within the school frame or whatnot. But when the women would, when a young man would ask, hey, when you gonna let me hug you, or when you gonna let me kiss you, or when we, that's the type of standards that we should be, setting for young people and for ourselves also. That they should have stages before we get to sex or whatever, because sex opens up a different realm of things. So, standards are definitely great. I would love you guys to, possibly speak about, in closing out the show, destroying a thug. What's the standards that women have to set in destroying this thug that Beyonce mentions? And I think that'll be great.
Good. You know what? I'm gonna let the guys. Thank you, Harold. We have 45 seconds. I'm gonna let the guys give quick responses. How do we destroy the thug?
Destroy them. They're not relevant. They're not relevant.
If we raise our standard, if women raise their standards, they disseminate.
Real men do real things.
Oh, hello, Henry.
Nothing to add. I agree with both.
There we go.
I think we should, first begin by glorifying them and idolizing them in our, music, in our television programming, in our communities, and really, pull like-minded, strong black men together to have the necessary conversations with another black man on based on how he's living his life.
And I think Gian said it so well in the beginning of the show. We need to live in our reality. That was her 2016. That was her resolution, and we all need to do that. What you see on TV is not reality. Live in your own reality. Set your standards. Invigorate our children with ethics and character, and let them know their worth, because that's going to change the world. This is The Good Life Relationship Tuesday, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday.